Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Murphy Street Podcast. I will be your host for the day. My name is Murphy. I'm here joined by Bronson. Bronson, tell everybody what's up.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
When you guys come to Murphy Street, rule is very simple. Shoes and slippers at the door. Come inside and let's talk story. All right, so once again, we'll be going live from the heart at 7 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time next Monday, our very next show. So check us out there. This past Friday, we went to visit a place called Collector Maniacs. And we went there because they were closing their doors. Last day was August 16th, and that was Sunday. The Facebook group that we belong to, Hawaii Collectors Anonymous, everybody was posting about it because he kind of catered to everyone. He had everything from Funkos to comics to manga to Power Rangers, like Japan Power Rangers. He had everything. So we wanted to make sure that, you know, considering that we patroned them many times throughout the years, that we went to kind of show our respects. Why don't we talk about what we got, Bronson? Why don't you talk about what you got?
I only bought that V3 Kamen Rider Hot Wheel. Yeah, the Hurricane.
That was a dope one because that's not something you find just laying around, right? I was able to hunt down two Supermans. One was the Black Lantern one that Bronson actually found for me, so super thankful for that because, and after reading about what Black Lantern Superman was, it's kind of cool to have something like that. Let me go take it back a step and say thank you so much, Collectors Maniacs, for all of the years of amazing collecting that you helped us through. I mean, I remember going there from so long ago. Sadly enough, and I'm hearing this through the grapevine, this is complete hearsay at this point. Naturally, as always, as I would always do if I was on Waialae, I went to Collectors Maniac and then I walked just a few stores up to Gecko Comics, and they had their kind of sale signs up as well, and it did look like, and also I did hear some rumors that they would be closing down as well. So Gecko Comics and Books, like that's another one. They just had everything. Matter of fact, Gecko Books more so than Collector Maniacs, I feel like, because even Gecko had sports stuff as well. You know, they have sports figures and stuff like that. So if they are closing down, man, we are so sad to see them go as well. That'll make Waialae a lot less boring, I can tell you that, for collectors. But the reason I bring these shops up is because growing up here in Hawaii, which shops do you remember patroning as a kid or as a younger collector that, you know, our mom and pop style may not even be here anymore? You know, some of the names that you remember.
Right off the top of my head would be Toys and Joys, since we're in the area of Waialae, man.
Yeah.
Growing up, there were 3 locations as far as
I was going to say, they had more than just one, right?
And, like, Toys and Joys holds some of my fondest memories of just my childhood.
Did you have your first kiss there, Bronson? Is that
like everything from Power Rangers to like anime to video games. I remember Toys and Joys was like one of the very few mom and pop stores that would actually carry stuff from like overseas or like Japan. And with video games, they would usually have games way before GameStop.
Right.
It saddens us here, especially for locals. Like, we don't have very many mom and pop shops or collector shops, you know, sort of say.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
And for the very few that are out there, man, like, I give you folks like complete props.
Absolutely.
For standing the test of time right now, and especially with COVID. It's kind of sad to see all these local businesses closing shop.
How's about I throw out a name and see what you think of this? Glenn's Collectibles.
Glenn's, yeah.
Yeah, another big a big place. Jellies. I know you know Jellies.
Jellies, yeah. Actually, I think now it's currently known as Ideas. I know it's the same guy.
Really?
Yeah, in Kaka'ako.
But here's another place that's kind of been around for a while called Jay's Knickknacks. And the first place that I really came across Kotobukiya would have been Other Realms.
Other Realms.
Yeah, they would have like Hero Clicks and Magic the Gathering type of tournaments. Mm-hmm. And this was when they were at Ward. They were like a treasure for me all the time. For all the people who might be watching, next week we will be actually going live from the Heart, Hawaii. So talking about these shops that do kind of make it through this pandemic, From the Heart, Hawaii, I feel like has been thriving. And when we went in there, it was busy.
It was booming.
Right. I picked up some fantastic things. Ken hooked me up with an amazing deal. Thank you so much, Ken. I really appreciate you. But From the Heart, Hawaii is definitely one of the people that we want to make sure that we keep their doors open. But especially with doors closing, we want to make sure that the businesses that we do have as a collectors community, we get behind to make sure that we keep them open. And I remember when From the Heart first opened, and they opened up really as a primarily Funko Pop store.
Yeah.
In order to, I guess, do more business, he's either opened up to his friends for a consignment, or he's just like expanded his library of things. I remember when I walked in there, and he had basketball cards and some McFarlane sports picks figures.
I actually saw some Hot Wheels too.
Right, no, and that's why it just seems to be, it's now really starting to cater, just like the other businesses did, to all of the all of the collecting community. And I remember when the shop was smaller.
It was the shop.
The shop next door. Yeah, exactly. So he moved to a bigger space, but I feel like this is a perfect space for him as a collector. You would be missing out if you did not visit From the Heart Hawaii. So once again, check us out next week, 7 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. We'll be going live from the Heart Hawaii. So let's go on to this. What comics did you read that really got you hooked back in the day? Like the specific comics for me was X-Men. I'm talking about like 1992, 93. So Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Phoenix, Rogue, Jubilee, those guys.
I was a 80s, 90s kid, so I was kind of like spoiled with watching the cartoons. It didn't really appeal to me until I got older, and I started to read like manga and anime and all that kind of stuff.
I see.
Well, actually, just recently, I've been kind of like binging on comics. Because of you, I kind of got turned on to Umbrella
Academy, yeah.
But I like to compare and contrast like books or comics, when they get turned into like a live action feature.
Yeah.
So after you told me to go watch Umbrella Academy, I'm like,
and it was worth it, right?
It was worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
how's about I just go down my list then? So it was X-Men, but again, like I said, my time, Nightcrawler was probably my favorite Well, actually, I take that back. Wolverine was the one that got me attracted, and eventually I came to like Nightcrawler a lot. Jubilee was another one of my favorites. Never really liked Cyclops. Fantastic Four was probably the next one, and again, when I talk about all these comics that I read, I liked them during the time that I was in school. So we're talking about the 92-ish time frame, right? That's why my favorite Marvel character is Silver Surfer. That's where I got introduced to him. I don't know if you heard of this group. I'm going to guess that you have, but I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't. Alpha Flight.
No.
Actually, back in the day, Alpha Flight was a cool collection of characters. It was pretty much like an Avengers type ensemble, kind of, but with the X-Men.
I was kind of introduced to Marvel from like video games.
Sure. Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom. That's like one of my ultimate favorite fighting games ever. I was more of a Street Fighter fan. So
you like the 1v1s?
Yeah. So then once they incorporated Marvel versus Street Fighter or SNK.
Yeah.
So once they did like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, number 2 was like my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Because the lineup was amazing.
So after Alpha Flight, I would say that one of my favorite comics was Superman. Superman's original comic released was actually called Action Comics. It wasn't even called Superman. But the one that got me hooked the most was the build-up to the death of Superman. Because they had this black cover with the bloody S Superman, like that's the final, because I think it was like a 4 or 5 or 6 like episode of comic books. Spider-Man, whose original comic was back in 1962, and his is another where it wasn't titled Spider-Man. It was actually called Amazing Fantasy. It's kind of like that Mandela effect where you swear you've been seeing something like this your entire life. Like I swear it said Spider-Man, but it actually has always said Amazing Fantasy, and you just assume. But yeah, that Spider-Man 1 cover, if you're a true like Spider-Man fan, there's no way you don't want to have that. So in 92, Image Comics put out Savage Dragon. Image is a newer comic book company, and I want to say they started around the time. I think Savage Dragon was one of the first ones they put out. All right, so we've now come to the part of the episode where we go to what's on my table. Darth Maul is my favorite Star Wars character. Master Replicas. This one is the Collector's Club double-sided lightsaber. I think just show it like that. So this is the double-sided lightsaber. It also comes with like a patch. What am I going to do? Put it on my Boy Scout like sash? I am no longer a member of the Master Replicas Collector Society. I'm going to be honest. I only joined it so that I could get this thing. This is where we wrap the show up. Don't forget to join us next week, Monday, 7 p.m. We will be going live at From the Heart Hawaii. First, Bronson, what's yours?
You can find me on Instagram. It's nosnorp_toybox.
All right. And you can find me at MURPHYSTREET808. That is Murphy Street 808. Remember that you can follow us on Spreaker or Apple Podcast. Don't forget your slippers.
Aloha.
Aloha.